عارف إنه هو اللي
Good afternoon. You're watching the English newscast on Future Television. I'm Yumna Naufal. These are today's top stories. The Constitution should be the basis for any solution for the now one-year-old Lebanese presidential crisis. The words of Maronite patriarch Shaddai. ISIS takes full control of a border crossing between Iraq and Syria, tightening its grip on the heart of its self-proclaimed caliphate. And political leaders from 45 countries participating in the World Economic Forum in Jordan appealed to help ailing economies in the Middle East and North Africa. The Constitution should be the basis of any solution for the now one-year-old Lebanese presidential crises, according to Maronite patriarch Shaddai. He said that the way to elect a president is by referring to the Constitution. His comments come in the light of a recent proposal by Free Patriotic Movement Michel Aoun, in which the first suggestion was electing a president through a popular vote, which would require constitutional amendments. March 14 and Progressive Socialist Party officials have rejected the initiative over the proposed amendments. Lebanon has been without a president since May 25th of last year, when President Michel Sleiman's term expired. Political parties have so far failed to elect a successor, with neither of the two main political camps, March 8 and March 14, capable of securing a majority vote in parliament. Owen is the official candidate for the March 8 camp, while Jaja remains March 14's candidate. Interior Minister Nuhad al-Mashnou is criticizing the recent remarks made by Hezbollah Deputy Secretary General Sheikh Naim Qasim on liberating the northeastern border town of Arsel, saying that the army should be responsible for such a mission. He told the Future Daily Qasim is calling for the destruction of Arsel, not its liberation. Qasim had voiced yesterday Hezbollah's determination to confront the Takfiri threat on the outskirts of Arsel to liberate the land. He referred to the case of Iraq's Ramadi region and slammed those who proposed that they sit aside and allow the official armed forces to perform their duties. In Ramadi, continued Qasim, officials said that they do not need the help of the popular mobilization forces to combat ISIS in order to avert the Sunni-Shia strife. Prime Minister Tamam Salam is scheduled to deliver a speech to the Lebanese people in order to address the ongoing danger of the presidential vacuum that will reach 1 year tomorrow. Salam will highlight the threat of the deadlock and call for resolving the dispute. He deems efforts to end the impasse as a national duty that would steer Lebanon clear of vacuum at state institutions. Lebanon has been without a president since May of last year, when the term of Sleiman ended without the election of a successor, but ongoing disputes between both rival camps have thwarted the polls. The Islamic State group has taken full control of a border crossing between Iraq and Syria, tightening its grip on the heart of its self-proclaimed caliphate. The move gives ISIS control of the two main roads between Syria and Iraq's province of Anbar, as the jihadists press their most devastating offensive in months. The latest success comes a week after ISIS captured the Iraqi city of Ramadi and days after it seized the historic Syrian city of Palmyra, two of the group's most significant military victories in almost a year. The jihadists seized Al-Walid border post earlier this morning when Iraqi government forces pulled back to a nearby crossing with Jordan. ISIS had taken the Syrian side of the crossing on Thursday, but the surge by the group, described as the most violent in modern jihadi times, raised further questions about the efficiency of the U.S.-led coalition's 8 months air campaign. Iraqi forces have regained ground from ISIS militants in western Iraq, advancing towards the city of Ramadi 1 week after it fell to the insurgents. A police major and a pro-government Sunni tribal fighter in the area said they had retaken the town of Qusayba al-Sharqiyya, about 10 kilometers east of Ramadi, with the help of Shia paramilitaries. Shia militias, Iraqi security forces, and pro-government Sunni tribal fighters launched a counter-offensive on Saturday against the insurgents, who have pushed east towards a key military base after overrunning Ramadi. Planes were bombing ISIS positions on the opposite bank of the Euphrates River, where the militants were launching mortars and sniper fire to prevent the pro-government forces from advancing. The fall of Ramadi last Sunday was the biggest setback for Iraqi forces in almost a year and has cast doubt on the effectiveness of the U.S.-led strategy. Yemen's Houthi rebels say they had downed a fighter jet of Saudi-led coalition in northern Sana'a, the country's capital. Meanwhile, they showed the wreckage of the F-16 fighter jet to the public and media. The label Saudi Royal Air Force and information on the nameplate like jet number, origin and manufacturer of jet were seen on the wreckage. They said they shot down the warplane in Bani al-Harith, northern Sana'a, in the wee hours of Sunday with the anti-aircraft armament. So far, the whereabouts of the pilot of the fighter jet is still unknown, and there is no response from the Saudi side. Saudi Arabia, along with 8 other Arab states, have been bombing the Houthi group and forces loyal to forces President Ali Abdullah Saleh since March 26, aiming to reinstate the government of President Abdul Mansour al-Hadi. He was forced to flee the country. Coming up next, Sweden's Måns Zelmerlöw wins the final of the Eurovision Song Contest in Vienna. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching Future Television's 4:20 o'clock news in English. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is expressing his appreciation to the United States for opposing an Arab plan for a nuclear weapons-free zone in the Middle East. The Jewish state is believed to be the only country in the region that has an atomic bomb, although it has never confirmed its nuclear military capacity. The phone call between Netanyahu and U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry came with the two governments locked in bitter disagreement over American-led efforts to reach a nuclear deal with Iran, which Israel says could compromise its security. A month-long UN conference reviewing the nuclear non-proliferation treaty ended on Friday without any agreement after the United States, Canada and Britain opposed a proposal backed by Egypt and Arab countries to convene a conference by March 2016 on creating a Middle East nuclear weapons-free zone. It would be catastrophic if Greece left the Eurozone. Those are the words of Greek Finance Minister Yanis Varoufakis. He said this in an interview when asked what would happen if Greece went back to its pre-euro currency, the drachma. Varoufakis said such a move would spell disaster for the economy.
Given how tough the international institutions are being on you, how disastrous or catastrophic do you think it would be if Greece actually left and went back to the drachma?
It would be. It would be. Because once you are in a monetary union, getting out of it, it is indeed, as you put it, catastrophic. We don't have a currency pegged to the euro. We just have the euro. It is like having a foreign currency as your currency. Trying to get out of it is tantamount to announcing in advance a devaluation, 10 months in advance. It would be a disaster. But you see, it would be a disaster for everyone involved. It would be a disaster primarily for the Greek social economy, but it will also be the beginning of the end of the common currency project in Europe. Whatever some analysts may be saying about firewalls, these firewalls won't last long. Once you infuse into people's minds, into investors' minds, the idea that the Eurozone is not indivisible, it will be only a matter of time before the whole thing begins to unravel.
Political leaders from 45 countries participating in the World Economic Forum in Jordan appealed to business leaders for help in getting the economies of the countries in the Middle East and North Africa back on track. Helping the economies of the region would help tackle security threats there, summed up former Vice Chancellor of Germany, Philipp Rösler, on the final day of the summit. In his closing address, WEF founder Klaus Schwab called on the participants to integrate the ideas presented during the 3-day event into their political and economic organizations. The next Middle East and North Africa gathering will take place in Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt next year. At least 5 policemen have been killed in a Taliban attack on police checkpoints in southern Afghanistan, and the fighting is continuing, according to provincial officials. The insurgents stormed several checkpoints in the volatile Sangin district of Helmand province. Provincial Police Chief Nabijan Mulakil said police reinforcements have been sent to repel the Taliban, who also suffered casualties. Now, Inayatullah Ghaffari, the provincial head of public health, said 5 bodies of police officers were brought to hospital in Lashkar Gah after the overnight clashes, along with the 8 wounded. The Taliban, in a statement on their website, claimed responsibility for the attack, saying they overran 3 police checkpoints and killed dozens of officers. The insurgents are known to make exaggerated casualty claims, but NATO's combat mission formally ended in December, but a small follow-up foreign force has stayed on to train and support local police and troops. Sweden's Måns Zelmerlöw won the final of the Eurovision Song Contest in Vienna, beating Russia and Italy in the world's biggest international music show. The 20-year-old singer and TV presenter, who had been a bookmaker's favorite, performed the winning electro-pop ballad Heroes, dancing in front of a black screen with animated gnomes. Sweden has won the 60-year-old competition 6 times, more than any other nation apart from Ireland. Sweden won most recently in 2012 with Euphoria by Loreen, and now gets to host the contest again next year. This year's theme was Building Bridges, which many artists interpreted as an appeal for tolerance in performances that included a gay kiss scene by Lithuania.
It's only love that for every teardrop that falls, for every question that calls, there is an answer out there, waiting somewhere. We can build a bridge until it reaches out across the borderline. Many of voices go, you won't be lonely anymore. Oh, a million voices. He said, I never left your side when you were lost. I followed right behind. Was your foundation. Now go sing it like a hummingbird, the greatest anthem ever heard. Now sing it together. We are the heroes of our time. Heroes. Oh, but we're dancing with the demons in our minds. Heroes. Oh, we are the heroes.
We have further countries coming up, but it's no longer possible for any other country to catch up. We already have a winner, and the winner is Sweden! Måns Zelmerlöw!
This marks the end of our bulletin for today. Now for a reminder of our headlines. The Constitution should be the basis for any solution for the now 1-year-old Lebanese presidential crisis, according to Maronite Patriarch FutureTV. The Islamic State takes full control of a border crossing between Iraq and Syria, tightening its grip on the heart of its self-proclaimed caliphate. And political leaders from 45 countries participating in the World Economic Forum in Jordan appealed to help ailing economies in the Middle East and North Africa. Those are your Sunday headlines live on Future Television. Catch up again tomorrow at 4:20 for the latest. I'm Yumna Naufal signing off. Good night.
مش عارف هل هول بيفوتوا